we have two key things. One, I do need to talk about scholarships because we've talked a lot about that. Essays. And the reason why I talk about essays with scholarships, because when your grades, your academics, your extracurriculars are all similar, what will differentiate you from the competition? And right now, what we're seeing a differentiator is essays and those things that uniquely allow you to show up and showcase yourself on paper and in person. So I am coming to the stage next is, wait, me, Dr. Christie. So I'm going to be sharing how to how to craft compelling essays and securing scholarships. So I'm going to attempt to share my screen. Let me know if you all can see it. Hopefully it'll come up. Okay. Excellent. Hold on. Let me try that one more time. Stop sharing, and then I'm going to share it again. I'm doing something different. I'm using Google Slides. I usually do PowerPoint, but this time it's a little different. So let's see. It says it's paused. Did it earlier without an issue. Let me try that again. Okay, can y'all see my screen?
Yes,
My
ma'am.
slide. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent.
Yes.
Whew. I'll tell you what, as a techie person, nothing gives me anxiety worse than trying to do something with technology and it does not work the way you intend. So thank you all for your patience as I transition. All right, so I'm gonna briefly, because I know it's been a full day, but I do want to briefly touch on some very important things as we talk about funding whatever your next endeavor is, career-wise. We want to make sure that you are well positioned to have the information you need to be effective in that endeavor. So we're going to talk a little bit about scholarships. So if there's something that's already been talked about, I'm not going to repeat it. I'm just going to highlight something and keep moving. But I want to touch on a few key things as it pertains to essays and scholarships. We've already established that you really want to focus on scholarships rather than student loans. If you have to take out a loan, Miss Jacqueline said only take out what you need. She's spot on with that. She also shared what scholarships are, gift aid. So today I'm going to continue the conversation around gift aid. And I was going to ask this question, but I think we already have answers to that. Who do you know who's won a scholarship? We just had a panel of college students who've won scholarships. So, and I'm sure many of you can think of individuals in your family, in your community, in your clubs, other organizations that have. Some of the things I'm going to share with y'all about scholarships is coming from my second book, College Funding Strategies. I wish someone had told me. And what I didn't mention earlier is both my books have templates that go along with them. So if I tell you that, hey, you should create XYZ, there's always a template to help you to do that. But these are some young men that are near and dear to me who I know won scholarships because they use them strategies in my books that I just talked about. The young man on the left is my cousin, the one I told you was in the military ROTC program at Hampton. Yes, his military ROTC program was just no average program. It was a scholarship program.
Dr.
He ended up
Christie,
with, yes.
sorry. So we're not seeing people on your left and right. We're seeing a schedule. Is that what you were meant to show?
No, that is not. Hold on one second. Thank you for that. I'm thinking I'm just humming along. Let me do this. Let me try that again. Thank you for sharing that.
No
How
problem.
about some reason? Do, 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 do. Okay, so it worked perfectly earlier, and now it does not want to cooperate. So let me reset this page and see what comes up. It says it's loading. Let me stop sharing. I think next time I'm probably going to stick with PowerPoint
Yeah,
because
I
I
want to
think
help you, but I don't know any. I don't know that either. I know PowerPoint.
it's not even loading on my side, and that's what's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll come back, but I'm going to continue the conversation. Even though I don't have the slide up yet, I will get it back up. So I appreciate everybody's patience. But what I do want to share with you when it comes to scholarships, the young men that I mentioned who went to Hampton on an academic scholarship, what happened is he filled out the application as he was applying for colleges, and he wanted to make sure that he intentionally chose a college that had a military ROTC program. So if that's something that's interesting to you, don't hesitate to reach out and find out, do a little bit of research and see which schools have the program that you're interested in. Once you find out if they have the program, every scholarship organization, whether it is the universities or another organization, they all have their own unique timelines. So if you think that you want to pursue scholarships, and I highly encourage most of you to do that, especially if you have funding needs and shortfalls, as Ms. Jacqueline talked about, please, one of the key things is get ahead and stay ahead of the deadlines. All right, where are my slides? Now I'm not seeing it at all. It's almost like it's disappeared completely. All right, well, I will make my way back to it in just a moment. So there are some key things, and as we talk about scholarships, I don't know if there are any particular scholarship questions. One of the questions I do get a lot about scholarships is how do you find scholarships that are a good fit for you? So let's talk about that. I don't necessarily need a PowerPoint for that part. So drop any thoughts you have in the chat, and then I'm also going to share as I multitask and look for my presentation at the same time. But what would you do to search for scholarships? Are you just going to go generally to Google? What are some of the resources that you would use to find scholarships? A vision. Anyone?
I can say some stuff. No, so I used to use an application called Moss that has scholarships that you can look on your phone essentially. You just download it. And there's a free version. You can get a free or a paid version, and they have like a total list of scholarships. And you can even make a profile where you get matched with the scholarships related to that said profile. But if you don't want to have like an app or anything like that, you can also look on Facebook or Instagram. They also have scholarships listed on there. There's different scholarship organizations posted on Facebook and Instagram as well. And sometimes they might even have scholarships on LinkedIn as well. A lot of people don't think that there's just more job stuff, but LinkedIn also has sometimes scholarships listed.
Excellent. Definitely. Yes, Ivy?
So an app that I've been using bold.org. You can like make your whole profile, get people to know about you, and that automatically sets you up for essay scholarships. But there's also essay scholarships in the app as well, just from other people contributing into the app as well.
Excellent. There's a whole host of apps, bowl.com, and many, many others that you can access. So excellent. I think I have my PowerPoint. I'm going to advance my slides real quick. I do see other hands. Adriana?
Oh, I use ChatGPT to make a description about myself and then see what scholarship matches, and they give me like a spreadsheet of the scholarships and stuff. And then sometimes I use both.org and scholarships360.com.
Okay, excellent. Those are all good resources. Nadira, if I'm pronouncing that correctly?
It's Nadira, but
Nadira.
yeah, For me personally, I just go on College Board and like go to the big future board thing, and then you can just search up scholarships and like filter it based on if it's like, oh, you want a state specific scholarship or something specific to like your race or something like that. You can like narrow it down, and I found a lot of scholarships through that I'm actually applying to. So.
Excellent. Okay. Primus?
For me, it was a mix between my mother, people in my family, and my counselor at school. The counselors get a lot of local scholarships, like if you're still in high school. Um, that's why you try to make connections with them throughout the 4 years, so they'll send it to you. And then looking at like a lot of sororities and fraternities have scholarships. I received scholarships from the Deltas and the AKAs from just applying and knowing people who were in the sorority. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, there's a lot of local organizations, fraternities, sororities, and more that have scholarships. And then River will take you last.
I know it sounds kind of really silly, but there are a lot of like current college students or like alums or like rising like freshmen in college that post on TikTok a ton of scholarship opportunities. So I literally have a folder saved on TikTok that has like a bunch of just like scholarships and stuff.
That's a great point. I actually post on TikTok and other sources, and I also look for information on TikTok as well. So thank you all. Do y'all see my slides now? Hopefully they are up. And is
We Yes.
see them.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So y'all covered, actually, this was one of my next slides, and y'all just helped me to already advance the conversation. But y'all touched on scholarships from all of these sources. So when I asked the question, who offers them? Nonprofits, community groups and organizations, companies and corporations, colleges and universities. So there are so many different scholarship sources. Please don't get discouraged because you may not know where to start. And there's different type of scholarships: needs based on your financial needs, merit based on your academics, interest. There's scholarships if you like to sew, if you like to paint, if you like to play sports, if you're in the military, if you're in engineering or nursing or education or dance. Whatever it is that you can think of to do, there are scholarship opportunities in so many different areas. There's scholarships out there for everyone. But here's my challenge with young adults in college and high schoolers. You got to put in the work. If you're not willing to roll up your sleeves and do your own search, nobody's going to search for you the way you need, because nobody knows your specific interest. They may not know your major. They may not know if you have any disabilities. They may not know your grades. They may not know your financial income, whether you're first generation, but you do. So you are going to be the biggest and best advocate for finding scholarships for yourself, you, your parents, those who know you well. And I want you to think about how you find scholarships different. Now, here's some golden gems that I want to share with y'all that most people aren't thinking about this way. Look for the unique and low competition ones. What does that mean, Dr. Christie? Small dollar amount, large dollar amount. That's great. Look for the ones that you think not that many people know about and only a few people can apply for. I'll just make up something. Let's say I'm a first generation African American female who wants to go to school for chemistry. I live in Virginia. Maybe a parent lost their job, and maybe I have an ADHD disability. Most people would think some of those, oh my God, her parents lost their job. Oh my God, they may have some sort of a disability. They may think of that as something negative or something to be down about. But guess what? When you start putting in searches those same things I just described, you're going to narrow down the number of people who can even apply for what your situation is. So that's one key piece. Make sure that you're applying for scholarships, whether they have essays or not. This is the reason why I'm combining the essay conversation with scholarships. I mean, it would be great if nobody asked you to write an essay, right? But you know why people ask you to write an essay? For a couple of reasons. One, so they can get to know you outside of just how you look on a high school or a college transcript or a resume. And then two, they want to know, and this is probably the biggest takeaway, I want to give my money to somebody who wants to invest in themselves and who doesn't mind taking the time to write a good essay. Very few of y'all are willing to do that. That right there is going to differentiate you from everyone else. So feel free to allow people to get to know you through your writing and also to know that you're willing to write. AI is not the answer, and I'm going to touch on that in just a minute. Few people want to obtain letters of recommendation. How many of you, while you're in the 9th, 10th, 11th grade, or even off to college, you should be focused on your brand, like I talked about earlier, building connections, and leaving a positive impression when you walk away from a classroom, a job, a church, or any other organization you're a part of. If your reputation negatively precedes you, good luck trying to get people to write a positive letter of recommendation about you. And once you start building those relationships, keep a little short list in your phone. Oh, I can always go back to Dr. Christie. She'll write a letter, and Miss Dion may write a letter, and Miss or Mr. Those kind of things. And keep that near and dear. Put their name and their email address. So when you need to pull from it, you already know because you've already built up that collateral and those relationships, and you can go back to it. And lastly, can't nobody, and I know that may not be great grammar, but I'm saying it like I really want to emphasize it. Can't nobody talk about you like you can. Focus on what makes you unique and different. We're going to talk about that a little bit more because you can use those things I just talked about to expand your search, looking for local scholarships and leveraging some other resources that are available to you. One of which I've talked about. I recently launched an app to help you to find unique scholarships. It's called Hidden Gem Scholarship Finder. I continue to work on it, improve it. I'm getting great feedback to strengthen it. But if you put in unique things about you, it's going to give you unique scholarships return. So that is one resource that I want to at least bring to your attention. When you put it in, you can create a profile. It'll ask you questions and it'll spit out a list of different scholarships. You won't apply for them through this app, but what you can do is write down or jot down, okay, which organization is it? Let me go and go back to their direct website, find out when the deadlines are, what goes into the application requirements, and create a list. If you save those in my app, it will let you download a PDF or an Excel spreadsheet so that you can track and go back and do more research. So that's my contribution to trying to make a difference and make it a little bit easier to track and to use a tool to find scholarships that you normally would not even know exist. That's the reason why I created that app. In terms of time management, I highly recommend you set aside time every day, every week. With my sons, I said, hey, Sunday afternoons are usually a light day. Maybe you should apply for 5 scholarships. Now that they've graduated from college, that Sunday shifted to maybe you should apply for 5 jobs. So if you're in college and you're looking for internships and jobs, similar premise. Use your time, create a spreadsheet, and really manage what you're trying to do and break it down into smaller tasks. And focus on things with the upcoming deadline first, and then work your way through. So if you have deadlines in August and September, obviously those are your priority. October and November may not be as high of a priority right now, but they will be over the next few months. And so that'll help you to not spread yourself too thin. Now I want to talk a little bit about applying for scholarships. It's similar but different than applying for a college application. Sometimes you'll have to have an application, test scores, depending on the scholarship entity. They get to decide what they ask you for. And you have to focus on making sure that you are prepared and you have the documents ready to go. How many of y'all have all these documents that are listed here ready to go if you had to apply for a scholarship today? Drop me a yes or no in the chat. Yes or no? Anything on here you don't have? You might not have applied for the FAFSA yet. I get it. We used to call it a student a SAR, but that may be something different now. That's different now. It's a student aid index with the FAFSA. But do you have your test scores if you're a senior? Do you have can you get your transcripts pretty quickly? Can you get a verification saying that you're enrolled in either high school or college? Letters of recommendation. Do you have access to individuals or to copies of those? Those are the kind of things you have to stay prepared. You have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready when it's time to execute. What happens if you find your dream scholarship, but the deadline is coming up at the end of this week? Use the time to make sure you have all those documents and parts of the application as you are applying. Now, I want y'all to pay extra special attention to this because tonight and in the morning, Dr. Christie will be evaluating scholarship applications, and I hope there will be many of yours. So as I'm telling you this, I'm not telling you this for no good reason. I'm telling you this to make this your standard of excellence and your practice going forward. Read the instructions, y'all, carefully. Do exactly what people ask you to do and do it well and don't miss a step and don't do the things they didn't ask you to do. Hopefully that makes sense. Follow the instructions. So if someone says write an essay for 250 words, don't give them 240, don't give them 270. Come in right around 250. If they tell you it's due by January 1st and you want to submit it on January 2nd, guess what? Don't bother submitting it because obviously you're not disciplined and you haven't managed your time enough to get it in ahead of the deadline. Letters of recommendation, essays, if they say they need a certain count or a certain number or a certain type, or read the prompts for your essays to make sure you are answering what they ask. Submit your application on time. I would invite on time is actually late. Submit it early so that if you run into a technical glitch, you have time to address it. Save all of your essay content, save all of your application content to your computer so that the next time you have to submit an application, you do not have to start from scratch. That's how you yield back time. You do it really well the first time, and then it'll pay itself forward for future applications. And then focus on writing the compelling essay, which is exactly what I want to get into very quickly. Now, I want to share this. Your essay is one of the single most things that's going to help you to get a scholarship and stand out. Once you've had the grades, the extracurriculum, the leadership, you've checked all those boxes, how you tell your story will matter. How you will show up with self-awareness, talking about your interest, your passion, and what drives and moves you, those things is what people want to hear about. Nobody else is going to tell Kalia's story or Jocelyn's story the way you can. Hey, I see you. So nobody's going to tell your story the way that you can. And then share how you want to make a difference. You heard the last panel talk a lot about the college student panel making an impact and making a difference. Showcase how you want to do that through your writing. So I hope that helps you as you're thinking about telling your story differently. Now, I know we talked about AI a lot, and you can be successful utilizing AI, but not in the ways that you probably wish you could. AI should never write your whole essay. And if you're on here from last year's summit and you submitted an AI essay as a part of my scholarship and wonder why you weren't one of the recipients, it's because I can tell. I will not award money if you can't put in the effort to tell me about you and not just generic topics. I want you to leverage AI to enhance your writing, to even give you ideas, to help you organize the way that you think, but maybe even to find your scholarships, but never to write it for you. There's detectors and there's checkers out, and people are a lot smarter than y'all give them credit for with knowing how to do it. So how can you use AI responsibly? How about making sure you're not plagiarizing? You still have to give credit to other people's original ideas. How about you use AI to do some fact checking? Claude is great. If you go to use Claude and you want to get statistics and other fact check, you can even ask and put in your prompt, please cite the source, so that you know exactly where those facts came from. But you definitely want to, avoid over relying on AI. It should be a tool and a companion. It should not be a replacement for your brain. Now, how do you make sure you're being you? Anybody want to come off of mute and share how you can tell if something was written by AI? I think that's important. How can you tell? Emmanuel and then Adriana.
One way you can tell it's AI is if it's over exaggerating the bullet points and formatting. I think formatting is huge. I think
Mm-hmm.
AI will try to bold words and letters kind of randomly,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't often do those things as humans. I think also use like vocabulary that's like just way out of proportion. Like you wouldn't use extravagant in a regular sentence. Like you wouldn't do that. So um I think like you were saying, use AI to a certain point, but edit, change, and be yourself, be authentic, because
Absolutely.
people aren't gonna take you serious, like whether you're in college or like, out in industry, like you have to learn how to like just be yourself and just be genuine. It's better to just do that. So yeah.
Thank you. Nadira?
Hi. So in my experience with AI, um, when I read AI, yes, it does have like fancy vocabulary that doesn't really make sense for the type of essay or thing they're writing, but it's also like there's no opinion to it. Like when we write something, we always have our own natural opinion towards it, our own natural bias when we write something. And like AI doesn't have that, and it's like if you ask it to write a essay about a book, it's going to give you a very fancy summary instead of an actual opinion on said book.
Exactly. Thank you. How about you, Hannah?
Yeah, same thing that Emmanuel was saying. Like it AI leaves like little marks, especially like humans don't really like use dashes like when they type paragraphs or essays, but when you do ask AI to write something for you, it'll put these random like dashes into your work. And then also I've learned this from like a friend. AI also does put code into your text. So when professors or even like scholarship lookers look at your essays and they put them through these AI finders or whatever, they
Mhm.
can tell it's AI, not your own work, because the hidden code that's left in between your text and everything.
Right.
Also, it doesn't sound like it really doesn't, like they were saying, like, it doesn't sound like human form, or it doesn't sound genuine. It sounds like a robot genuinely wrote it.
Thank you. And lastly, Ivy.
Also another thing kind of piggybacking off of what they said, you're like an essay or like a writing is supposed to be personal and emotional, and I feel like AI doesn't really have that type of emotion that you're supposed to have in like your college essay or any other essays.
No, that's exactly the case. All of you are thank y'all for sharing those insights. All of y'all are spot on. Everything you said. The key difference last year when I hosted the summit and I asked, I can't remember what the prompt was. Let's just make up something and say about leadership. The AI essays, to Ivy's point, were all about leadership as a skill that you can build and you can grow. What does that tell me about anything about Chancellor or James and how James may show up as a leader in his community? It didn't. And so it was very generic, general information. I could have read an encyclopedia or gone to Wikipedia for that. So if your writing sounds like any generic, boring jargon, it's going to get tossed or put to the side. You want to use your authentic voice. You have feelings. AI systems don't have feelings. System can't describe something that happened when you were 8 or say how disappointed you were when something didn't go your way. Only you can do that and tell your unique story. So it should enhance and not replace. You want to always preserve your voice. Never yield your voice to a system, simply put. You can use AI to help you critically think. If you want to evaluate something, compare and contrast, if you want to do a fact check, be careful with that because you want to make sure the facts that they're coming back with are actually real facts. And so that's how you make sure you can go back and say, cite your source. And then you can go back and verify the source is actually accurate. But you can use it in those ways. But make sure that your independent thinking speaks through. You can use AI to help you to be creative. Sometimes I'll use AI all the time to spark ideas. And then I'll spin off an idea based off of an idea I got from AI, but it wasn't AI's uniqueness put on it. I still put my unique spin on it. So those are some key things I want you to do when you think about using AI. Some of those same AI tools we talked about earlier, Chat GPT, Gemini, Claude, Copilot. You can use those tools. Just use them to augment and support what you're doing and not replace you doing it. Now, when you get an essay prompt like you will today, understand the question is key. That's another way I disqualify scholarship applicants. Let me just say, I think all of y'all are brilliant, but the ones that are likely going to do well and shine through are the ones that can do these basic things well. Understand the question, identify what they're asking you from the keywords and the themes, and then you want to brainstorm and write about your experiences and address what was asked in the question. And then make sure you answer all the parts of the question. So if I give you a two-part question, tell me about a leadership moment you had and how it might have changed how you move forward. Both of those things need to be covered in your essay writing. You can't leave out one and not do the other one, because that's the quickest way to get a low score or to get marginalized in the process. Now, if you have a prompt, and this is one that came, I think, if you have an essay prompt, and I know like the Common App for those who use it, you could very well get prompts that you can write and refine and keep in use for multiple applications. But let's say somebody gave you this prompt. The lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to later success. Recount a time when you faced a challenge, a setback, or failure. How did it affect you, and what did you learn from the experience? There's some key words you should be zooming in on. Recount a time when you experienced something bad or challenging. How did it affect you, and what did you learn? That could be 3 different paragraphs, but they should be clearly identified. I experienced this in my life. It affected me in this way. Here's what I learned about myself or the other people or whatever that is. It should be very clear, and they should be able to easily map through that you've answered their prompt. If you just running on with sentences and all over the place and disorganized with your thoughts and your writing, it's going to show, and somebody else will get awarded your scholarship. So make sure you understand the parts, answer the questions, and make sure that you pull out those key words. Always start when you're crafting a narrative or essay. Please start out with something compelling. Don't put anybody to sleep with your writing in the first sentence. According to Webster's dictionary, leadership is all about blah, 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 blah. I'm already ready to move on to the next essay. Grab their attention. If I'm writing about leadership, and I've done this before, I talked about the time I ran for senior class president in high school and lost. Now I have the reader wanting to see what else happened with this. This is interesting. They're probably like, oh, that's funny, she lost, or oh, that's sad, she lost. But it's going to make them want to read more. And that's your objective. Get them past the first sentence. And if you talk about a challenge, you can talk about a challenge. Don't stay there. You don't want to keep it dark too long. You want to highlight it, but you want to pivot to something positive, something encouraging, something uplifting, how you spun it into something that's going to help you or someone else. And then if you have significant achievements as a result of me losing this or losing that election, I later did X, Y, and Z really well. So pivot it into something positive, but also shift it if you have achievements. Maybe it led to you receiving an award or something of that magnitude. But talk about the results and the accomplishments associated with your work. And then make sure you align with the organization's mission. So you always want to say your core values, or, you have a core value about, I'll make up something, integrity. And that really resonated with me, because I feel that how you show up when nobody's looking is just as important as how you show up when they are. Simply put, they're like, oh, okay. Love it actually took the time to check us out and do a little research on us. Okay, he's now moving up to the top of my pile. So those are some of the things that I want you to consider. So I'm going to skip that. You can use AI once you've drafted your essay to give you more clarity. You may pop a sentence in that doesn't make sense to you or you don't like how it's worded. And you can say, hey, AI, give me some examples and ways to enhance this sentence. And then you type it in yourself. To Hannah's point, or I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Hannah, but I can't remember who said that if you copy it straight from Chat GPT and paste it, it has code sometimes built in, and you're gonna carry that with it, and other people are gonna know that that's exactly what you did. And make sure you can also use AI to make sure it flows. You can pop in your own original paragraph and say, I'm not sure if this flows well. Give me recommendations on how to make it flow better. So those are some subtle ways that AI can be a great resource to you. And again, here's some tools that you can use. This will be in the slide deck for you to consider. You can use Grammarly. That was one of the ones talked about earlier. Never submit an essay that you have not proofread. I don't care where you got it from. AI, maybe you took somebody else's work. Never submit, and that's not acceptable either. But never submit any writing that you have not proofread. I don't care what age you are. You could be 80, and I would give you the same advice. I don't care how many books you've written, how many dissertations you've defended. Everyone's writing could be strengthened. So use tools. Maybe get someone else to look at it. Check your grammar and your typos, but make sure you have edited your essays before you submit them. Here are some other tools that'll help you with edit checks, Grammarly and Quillbot. Those are really great. If you want to paraphrase, Quillbot is really great with that and more. But I just want to expose y'all to some of these tools. And then we already talked about getting help with your proofreading. And then for your essay writing, but also for your scholarship applications, I always have a checklist. So if you're writing an essay and they said those 3 key points, the challenge, how it affected you, and maybe how you pivoted, make sure you go back and you make sure you've addressed all those things in your writing. Make sure you're authentic. Make sure your structure is good and is well organized, grammar. You've responded to the prompt. You followed our directions and gave them back what they asked you for with your writing. And does it align with the scholarship goals? These things are important. So as I wrap up, and I know I'm slightly over my time, but I want to give time to give the scholarship instructions as we wrap up. Your essay writing for college applications and scholarships or any other personal statement you'll ever write can use these same strategies for all of your writing techniques, and they will help you. In terms of scholarships, people want to get to know you. They don't want to know about AI. They want to get to know the individual who they want to invest in. So you want to make sure that you tell the story that nobody else can tell better than you through your writing. And as you are applying for scholarships and writing essays, track the entities in a simple spreadsheet. You can find those on my website as well. But you want to track your progress so that you know, I've already applied for the Amazon one and the Coca-Cola one. That's already on my list. Here are some others I want to add. All right. So if you want the tracking spreadsheet, the link to the books, the Hidden Gem Scholarship Finder, those are all resources that are available to you. And yes, I did use AI. I created my content first, and then I popped it into, I think it was Google Slides, and said enhance my slides. And they just spit out these phenomenal graphics. So you can incorporate it, but these weren't AI ideas. These were Dr. Christie's ideas, but I used AI to enhance what I was doing. And then you'll have in the slide deck ways in which if you want to stay connected. I think someone mentioned TikTok, great scholarship resources, and others on TikTok and other channels. So feel free to join these spaces. These are the 4 main spaces that I usually publish information, content, scholarships. So join them all, join one, whatever works for you. But I just want to share that they're available. I'm going to take questions at the very end, but in case anybody has to drop off, I want to share with you the scholarship instructions. This is the last thing before we wrap up. Your scholarships are due by 11:59 p.m. tonight, not 12:01, not 12:02. And I hope to see most of you apply. You are eligible if you're in high school, 9th through the 12th grade, if you're in college, freshman through a senior, or you're headed to college this fall, yes, you can still apply. If you're going to a graduate school, you can apply. If you are going to trade school, vocational, or community college, you can apply. You have to attend both days. So even though you're going to apply today, I'll be checking before I actually announce awards tomorrow if you're actually showing up tomorrow on camera. So if not, I'll redirect that money to a different attendee if that, it can't hold to be true. All right, so your instructions are to get those in by tonight. Here's what you'll need to submit. Your online application. There'll be a link on the QR code in just a moment, and it'll have all the things that you'll need to do, and including the instructions. You'll need to show some academic verification. If you're headed to college or currently in college, a college acceptance. If you're in high school, I will accept a report card or unofficial transcript, both for your GPA and your academic verification. Just upload it twice, one in each category for academic verification and once for GPA. If you're in college, I still need your unofficial transcript though. So you'll have some sort of verification that says you're in college, and you'll have either usually your transcript. And it does not have to be official. It could be the unofficial copy. If you're a homeschool, for example, you still need to produce grades. I get that question every year. Your scholar profile. So good news to all those who have joined before, or my COTers who have one, or you have access to the ones you created. You will need to submit your scholar profiles. And if you don't have it, can't find it, need to update it, there is a template on the website for you to do so. It won't take long, but I want to see what that looks like for you. And I need a professional headshot so that if you are one of those recipients that we highlight tomorrow, it will be your face we see on the screen tomorrow as we announce live who's getting the scholarships. You'll write a 500-word essay, and the prompt, I'll show you what that is in a moment. And this year is a little different. I want to get to know y'all in a different way. Let's do something fun with a 60 to 90-second video clip. Don't go past 90 seconds because Dr. Christie don't have all morning and all night. I love to watch videos, but I want to make sure I can get through all of these before tomorrow. Here are your prompts. You don't have to write it down because it will be on the website too, where your instructions are. If you want to screenshot and write it down, great, it's up to you. But your essay, you'll provide an essay on one career aspiration that you're interested in. Hold on, I got something blocking my screen. Include at least one college or university or school or trade school or whatever that is that offers the training, education, or program that you're interested in. Describe how much it costs to attend that entity and whether you have a plan in place to cover the costs. Share who inspired you with that career, who or what inspired you to choose that career, and one way you will make a difference. So all the things we kind of talked about, I kind of bridged those together here, but I want you to be thoughtful about your future with this essay. Feel free to share any statistics or facts that you like, but using AI to write it won't be acceptable. And then for your video, create a little mini customized video and share takeaways from this first day of your summit, of your Youth Career and College Excellence Summit. Just today, share any goals that stuck out that you want to include on your career roadmap. It could be related to your essay. That may prompt you to, think about, oh, I wrote this in my essay. Maybe I should include that as a goal on my roadmap. So be creative with your videos, and best of luck. And may the odds forever be in your favor. Like they say on, what's that show my kids used to watch? Y'all name that show, that movie.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. Yes, it was on the tip of my tongue, but y'all knew it. So that says a lot. So, as you write your essays, these are, why is this here? It's the same thing. Okay, that's the same thing a different way. This is the slide I want to get you to. Scan the QR code. I'm going to upload the slides to that same website And I should probably drop that in the chat as well. I'm going to drop that in the chat before we get off. I'm going to stop sharing in a moment and drop that link in the chat if you need to grab it before we jump off. I'll do that for you as well. But I want to share with y'all, make sure you get those in on time. Go to the website. The scholar profile will be there. Your career roadmap, should you want to create one, is there. I did have a template for that. And the slides from today, I will make sure those are there for you to reference. And when you scroll down on the same page, you'll get to, there'll be a button and it'll say scholarship application. Once you have everything ready to submit, please feel free to submit it that way. And that's the only way I'm really looking for you to submit it. If you run into a technical difficulty, let me stop sharing for a second. Because I want to do two things. I want to put two things in the chat and I need y'all to grab it because I'm going on a date with my husband in a few minutes and I'm going to check my phone, but it may not be as frequent. But if you have an issue, educational, I'm putting my email in the chat so that if you run into, only if you run into a technical issue or you have a question, but please, excellence. Make sure there are questions that you really need me to answer. And they're not things that are already on the website, Educational Excellence Inc. So there is my email if you run into technical issues uploading a file. If you do, and you've reached out to me, I will tell you, go ahead and email me that document only, but still submit the rest of your application online. Because I know technical glitches happen, just like with me today, with my slides. So life is happening sometimes. So I get that. And so I'm also going to drop in the chat the link for those who may be on the device and can't scan. There you go. There's a link to the website to get to that page. Now, we're going to resume tomorrow, before I forget to say this, at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Please check your time zones for tomorrow, but Eastern Time tomorrow. I do see a couple of hands, so now would be a great time to answer questions. So as I answer questions, if anybody needs to drop off, thank y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow. Get to work. I can't wait to see what y'all submit. And if you have questions, feel free to stick around. I'm happy to answer any questions. Yes, Connor.
Hey, so for the essay, when it says 500 word count, is it okay if it's over 500 or do you want it 500 and below?
It needs to be right at 500. It can't, if I say over, somebody's going to go to 1,000 and I'm not reading that. If
Gotcha.
I say under, somebody's going to go 250 and I'm not reading that either. So the reason why I say right around 500, it should be around 480, 500, 502, and that really small plus or minus range. So if you can't get it exact, don't spend your time stressing that tonight. But I'll give you a little bit of grace if it's close to 500 on either side. But I'm not
Yes,
giving
ma'am.
grace if it's like a 100-word essay.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. River?
Hi, my question is more of a concern about the essay. Earlier, you mentioned obviously AI is unacceptable and stuff, but you mentioned some like examples that like seem like that like tallies it as AI, like some more like diverse vocabulary and like the M dashes and whatnot. And I really don't want to sound arrogant here, but I've had some really amazing like literature teachers and language composition teachers, and my mom's a teacher. I've seen her grade writing and stuff. And I would say that I do have a very diverse and elevated vocabulary, and I use M dashes unironically, and I've never used AI to write anything. And I'm just concerned with those examples that my essay will be marked as AI when it's not.
Well, thank you for sharing that concern because you're probably not the only one. Here's what I can tell you. Dr. Christie can still tell. Because if it's written by AI, even if I close my eyes and I just have somebody read it out loud without me seeing the dashes and the bold, I can still tell because it doesn't sound like River. River's interested in dancing. So if this essay is written in a way that doesn't highlight her going on a bunch of auditions or,
Mhm.
and stressing about meeting people who can help, AI is not going to show up that way for you. So that's the whole uniqueness about you that I'm really looking to hear come through from the writing. I'm not going to say that if I see a dash, I'm going to throw out your essay. But if I see a over usage of AI and I'm not getting to know you as an individual through your writing, then that's a obvious way to tell.
All right, I can do that. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Hannah?
Yeah, I have a question. So on the website, should we just upload the video within where it says like essay on like if we're not putting the essay like in the text box, should we put it on the video on a document in a link and then upload
Um,
that?
so let me go to the website because I thought on the application there's an upload for video. Does it not have an upload segment for video?
No, I'm not seeing it.
Let me double check. And thank you for checking that out before we get off, because if there isn't, Dr. Christie will be immediately adding it.
And then to River's point, I also do use dashes when I type, but I've had professors who would flag my work and be like, "Oh, like they will email me like, is this AI? Can you prove it's not?" And then I have to prove that it's not AI. So like when you do go to school or when you're in college, like sometimes like your professors will flag your work down if they have a hint that it looks like AI, even though it's your original work. So if you're able to like back it up, like back your own work up, then that's good. But there are a lot of students that do take AI to an advantage and they see those like dashes within the work. So just a heads up.
Understood. No, that's a great point. And again, it won't be just because Dr. Christie saw a dash. It's going to be because Dr. Christie saw a lot of dashes, a lot of bowls. The essay is written boring. I didn't get to know the author or the writer at all, and I'm bored, and it's not a great quality essay that allows me to get to know you. So, and I think that's the part that may differ from a traditional school assignment and one for a scholarship. But that's a great point to raise. And I will go back and update let me see if I can get to the application because the last item on the application is actually for the video. I just forgot to change the name of that field. So that I can fix pretty quickly. So I'll edit that. So I see David's hand while I make this edit.
Yes, I have a question. So are you talking about for the what is it? The get my future results, is that for the interest assessment that they have? Get my future, like it's the where you kind of tell us about yourself and then you get the results back. Is that what you're talking about by chance?
What are you referring to? I'm sorry, I don't know what. Are you looking at something on the website or are you asking about something in the essay? What's your point of
Oh,
reference for your
yeah.
question?
Well, it says on the application, it's upload, get my future results. So are you talking about the career one stop like assessment for get my future that you had? Where's about?
Okay, thank you for that. That actually is going away this year, so let me delete that now.
Okay.
That is no longer, oops, I just deleted the entire application. Let's put that back. That particular item is no longer necessary. So I'm going to shift those up. And I just updated I just removed that one. And I just added the one for the video. So I'm going to republish. And everyone will need to refresh your browser so that you'll get the updated application. And hopefully you'll see that one gone now, David. And same with the video upload being there. See, look at y'all helping me to be great. Thank y'all. I love it.
Uh, Salutations, Dr. Christie. How you doing?
I'm wonderful.
Um, so how do I go about this? So for the application to like actually submit it, so there's the two sections. There's the I guess the school slash college verification, the GPA verification. Um, at the moment, my last transcript was the one I got before during spring break. And so that's before that was I think yeah before my fourth quarter, i.e. the last quarter before the school year ended. So how do I go about trying to obtain said transcript? Because I don't know if my what's it called? My counselor will be able to send that to me right now.
Okay, so if you go back and look under the eligibility and the application at the top of the website, it
Mm-hmm.
says if you're in high school, you can submit a final report card. Do you have that?
No, I do not have that.
Oh, you don't have a report. How you know which how
Mm-mm.
you ended the school year? How you know you're not going back to the same grade again?
Um, I mean the most I have is my new schedule. That is the
So you
most I
have a
have
new
at the moment.
schedule.
Because
Submit so for your and this is for your school verification, I will accept your schedule.
mhm.
For your
Okay.
GPA, submit your last transcript that you do have access to.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, David and then Trevor.
So I also had like a question with the verification. So for I know with the GPA we can provide a transcript. For the school and college verification, so did are we able to also put a transcript, or did you want like a if people are currently in college, did you want what would you want for that one?
Most colleges, and I don't know if yours is, but I'm going by like my son's. When they were in college, if you go to your college portal, they have a section for transcripts, transcripts, student account, all those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Go into your portal. It'll ask you if you need a verification. Also, if you have a schedule for this upcoming semester, I will accept that as a part of your school verification too.
Okay, okay, yeah, I got that. All right,
Okay,
thank
perfect.
you.
Because I know, and I don't mean to be so rigid with these because I know it's summertime. The essence, the really the practice for y'all is to make sure that you can get access to the things you need before you need them and know how to go about finding them. So that's part of the exercise for this. Trevor?
Hi, Dr. Christie. I had a question about how you want us to submit our GPA, just the whole like report card. Would you rather we put it in, we like take a picture of paper or go through a student information system? Because that's where our school has
Um,
that.
I don't think you're going to have time to get it from a student information system.
Um, yeah, ours has an app. Like we can just take a screenshot.
Well,
Or
if you
better.
get a screenshot, then you can upload it electronically that way.
Okay, got it.
But if you
Or,
have to take a picture because if you don't have access to a scanner or you have only the hard copy, take a clear picture. It can't be a wrinkled, crumpled sheet of paper and Dr. Christie can't read it. So if I
right.
can't read it, I can't see it, I can't see it, I can't give you points for it. But if you absolutely need to zoom in real nicely and professional and take a screenshot with your phone, you can do that. But I
Okay.
would prefer electronically uploaded documents as my first choice, but I'm not going to hold it against you if that's not your reality. Yes,
All
Paula.
right.
Hi. I just I don't know if you went over it already, but for the scholar profile, a resume can count, right?
Yeah.
Or is it something
Are you
else?
in high school or college?
High school.
You need a scholar profile.
Okay.
If you're in college, I'll accept a resume.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
And the reason why is because college students they're shifting in a different way. But what I'm trying to get a sense of, and what you should be focused to get a sense of with the scholar profile is laying out your academic profile to get you to college.
And
So
then
take
we
some of the
would
things from your resume and move those into your scholar profile.
and we would be using your template like on the website, right?
You can, or you can
Oh, okay.
create your own. But
Oh,
yes, you
okay.
can. It's
Thank
totally up
you.
to you. All right, I think I hopefully answered y'all helped me clean up my website. We fixed a couple of tech glitches. See how feedback is critical. I do website stuff all the time, but I'm still learning. David, last question.
So, my last question is, so for the, I guess, because I do a resume, but I don't know if it go handles like all the stuff on the scholar profile. Like, for example, like I know for resumes, you don't put a headshot on a scholar profile.
You don't
If
have to include it on, no one has to include a headshot on the profile. You have to upload your
okay,
headshot separately.
okay, And but then like for like the other sections on the scholar profile, if the resume does not have that, should we just like try to put the stuff from the resume into into a profile, or just is the resume acceptable?
So if you're in college and you're kind of resume versus scholar profile, focus on the resume that you currently have.
Okay. Okay.
If you're in high school and you're transitioning to life after high school, I want to see a scholar profile that shows your academic progress in high school as you seek to transition. But
Okay.
the college students, what I'm looking for is, are you employable? Can you get an internship with that? And can you get a job with that resume? If you're in
Okay.
high school, can you use it to get scholarships and into college or wherever you're going next with that profile?
Okay. Understand. And my final question is for the video, I know like we don't have like a lot of time to, kind of like spruce it up like some other scholarship applications. Will there be like a little bit of grace with the video, or are we able to just like kind of like straight record or something like that? Is that
Yes.
fine? Okay.
You can straight record. Make sure there's not a lot of background noise. Try not to record outside because it always picks up outside noise. Not a lot of shaking and moving. Just make sure it's a good. It represents your brand.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Make sure that whatever it is you would want to put forward to try to get a scholarship or funding, that it represents you.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Well, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And good luck, and let the odds forever be in y'all favor.